how to create a free application to use on both mobile devices and on your computer. Right here, as you guys can see, this is my mobile screen. I have the summary, the amount accordingly to the category. And in the first sheet, I have the transactions, where I can register all the transactions I have for each money in and money out movement. I just go here, register a date, click on the category, select from the list I build myself, let's say utilities. Then I can register a description and a amount. Once I do that, automatically the Google Sheets is going to summarize this data for me in this compact range, so I can see what is going on. You can build everything just using your mobile. And this is exactly what we are going to do in this video. We are going to use the Google Sheets app to build a functional financial application. The only thing that is important is download the Google Sheets application. Go to the Play Store or to the Apple Store to download the app. That's it. To get started, let's open up a blank workbook in Google Sheets. And then we can go to the header and give it a meaningful name, because later on, it's going to be easier to find our template. So with this new dialog box that's going to pop up here in the screen, we can select everything, click, hold and drag to select everything. All the way down here, we have the keyboard of our mobile device. And let me give it a meaningful name, something like maybe my space financial app, for example. Let me hit OK, and that's it. This is the name of my app. Now, another thing that I always like to do is all the way down to the bottom in the footer of Google Sheets, I always like to change the name as well. Instead of Sheet 1, we can click on it, go to rename, and give it a meaningful name. In this case, maybe movements, because it's where we are going to register all the money in and money out. It's way easier to identify, let's say, because later on the video, we're going to have one more sheet to summarize the data. We know exactly what the first one represents and what we have in the second one, which data belongs to each sheet. But anyway, now on cell A1, we can click on it and create the headers. The headers are very important because we know which information belongs to which column. Let's say as the column A, I want to start with the date of the movement, the date of the transaction. Click on the cell A1. All the way down here, we can enter a text or a formula. Click on the formula bar. But of course, in this case, I'm going to use a text to label the first cell. And by the way, we can click on this toggle to change between numbers and texts on our keyboard. But let me enter here a name that is, as I said to you guys, date. Okay, let me confirm. Now we can move on to the second column and as well give it a meaningful name. This time maybe we can use category. Let me confirm. And then we can use maybe description. And finally, we can go with amount to register the amount, the total amount, the value of each transaction. However, if you click, hold and drag all the way here to the right, you can see you have a lot of several different columns, E, F, G, and etc. What we can do in this case is we can get rid of those columns we are not going to use. And I think this is important because we can make our app more compact, more minimalist. We don't need to have a large canvas with multiple columns to the right. We can centralize everything here in this screen. No necessity to go to the right, to the left, and etc. So what we can do is, let's say we can go to the last column of this Google Sheets, click on the column, click it again, and then go to the three dots and delete. Once we delete all those columns we are not going to use, what we can do, we can adjust the length of the columns. Or in other words, we can adjust the width. Let's say reduce the width. Column A is where we are going to use as the dates. We are going to register the date of the transaction. I don't think it's necessary to have so much width here, so we can reduce and make it thinner. Just select the whole column A, and it's going to appear this circular icon it's a handle. You can click on it and drag to the left, like that. Maybe we can do the same for the category. Just click on the handle. It might be quite tricky because the handle is quite small. And finally, I want to do the same with the amount. Click, hold, and drag a little to the left. Maybe like this. Okay, guys, so everything is centralized here. It's compact in this canvas. I don't need to go to the right, to the left. I can see everything at once. Once we do that, another thing I think is very important is to change the fill color for the background of the cell and also for the font. So we can select the first cell, date, and then go to this icon where we have the letter A, because this is the format. All the way down here, we can change the text format, increase the font size, put everything in bold, for example, change the text color to, let's say I want to use white, and then I can go back and as the fill, I want to use a dark blue, like this. And as we can see, this is the format we have right now. For sure, you can use different colors, different effects. You can do whatever you want, basically what you think looks the best. But right now, let me click on this first cell, A1, click on it, copy. Let's say I don't want to do it all over again to all the other cells I have around. So I can click, hold, and drag to the other cells, click again, and then I can paste special. Paste special, it's important because I don't want to paste the content of the cell, date. I don't want to paste date to all the other cells, but I just the layout. So paste special, and then we can paste format only. That's it. Now all the other columns are formatted as well as we did with the first cell of the Google Sheets. Now let's say move on to the second cell, A2, and the same is going to be applied to A3, A4, 5, 6, 7, all the way through this whole workbook. We need to register our transactions. Simple as that. We basically done. So let me give you guys here an example. As the date, I want to go here to the formula bar. Let me change the keyboard using the toggle to numbers. Let's say January /1st of /2027. Hit enter. Okay, so January 1st of 2027, I receive my paycheck, for example. So as the category, I want to register here salary. But imagine if all the time you need to manually type the same category over and over again. I think the best approach here is to create a drop-down list in Excel. So you can just click on the cell and select the list, the items you set up earlier. To do that, we can just go for the first cell, B2, and then click on the three dots, more options. We can look for data validation. Right here, Google Sheets, right? Excel from Google, let's say that way. It's already going to open up here the list of items, and this is exactly what we are going to use. But something needs to be changed, and this is the cell range. Because I don't want to only apply the list to cell B2, but all the way through the whole workbook. So let me include here semicolon. Sorry, it's not semicolon, but it's actually colon, right? So colon, and all the way to cell B1000. Why B1000 and not B10 million thousand and etc.? Because right now my workbook only have 1000 rows. And if you scroll down all the way to the last row, you're going to see 1000 rows. This is what you have. And if you want to add more rows in the future, you can do. It's very easy. Just go to the last row and click on the button, add new rows. It's going to be there for you, right? Very simple. But right now I only have 1000 rows. So this is why I'm using this range, B2 to B1000. As the items, I want to first start with, let's say, sales, and then comma. When I hit comma, the Google Sheet always understand that the first word, the first text, the first phrase is a tag, is an item that I want to use in my list. And as the second one, maybe we can go with salary. salary, comma. The third can be rent, comma, utilities, comma, and maybe transportation, comma, and etc. For sure, you can add multiple different items here in this list. It's up to you, right? But I'm going to give like this. I think it's enough here for me. Let me click on save, and that's it. Now, all the way from the first cell, B2, to the last one, B1000, we are going to have this drop-down list. This structure right here is enough to register our transactions, the money in, money out. And let me confirm here the template because it's done. However, the workbook's not done, just this first portion where we can check and register all the transactions we have throughout the day. However, let's say I want to have a summary. How much I have for salary, how much I have for each one of the categories we have. We can go all the way here to the footer and duplicate this sheet. However, we are going to keep only column B and D. Column B because we can select all the categories we have, and then we can use a formula to adapt the corresponding amount accordingly to the category, right? Let me go here to the footer, click on the first sheet, and then duplicate. Now we have a brand new sheet. However, I think it's important to rename it, give it a meaningful name, right? In this case, let me click here, go to rename, and give it a name such as summary, and then hit OK. That's it. Now we have movements and summary. In the summary, I want to get rid of the first column, the date. So click twice and go to the three dots, clear, or sorry, delete, right? Because I don't only want to clear, but I want to get rid of the column. And I'm going to do the same thing for column B as well. I want to delete it, right? And something that I think is important is I already have here my first category, salary. So let me select the second one that is going to be sales, and the third that is going to be rent, the fourth, utilities, and the fifth, transportation. That's it, guys. How we can do a formula now in Excel, in Google Sheets to automatically update the amount accordingly. Let's say we have a lot of transactions for salary. How can I adapt all those values together? We can use a formula, right? The SUMIF formula. And to do this formula, what we can do is, once you select the cell B2, you can go all the way here to the formula bar. And now we actually need to write a formula. Let me get rid of this value right here. Click, hold, and drag, select everything. Equals. This is how we start a formula in Google Sheets. And also in Excel. So both Google and Excel. Equals SUMIF. This is the formula we are looking for. Not just sum, because the sum formula is going to adapt everything we have within the range, within the selected range. I don't want to adapt everything. I just want to adapt the values corresponding to salary, and then sales, rent, utilities, or in other words, the total amount by category or per category, right? Let me go to SUMIF, select. Excel, Google Sheets is going to open up here the parentheses, and within those parentheses, we can insert the arguments, being the first one range, the second criterion, and the third sum range. As the range, we need to use the first sheet we have. However, there's a problem. We are stuck in this view right here. How can I go to the first sheet and select the range I'm looking for? This is a problem with the Google Sheet when we are using it by our mobile device. So what we need to do here is we need to recall what is our first sheet name, because we're going to need to use it right here. So let's say I already know the first name I use it, and it was movement, right? So movement. Okay, this is the name of my first sheet, and this is going to be used as the range, as the first argument we have, right? This highlighted one here, range. But I don't want to use the entire sheet. I just want to use a specific set of cells, a range. So movement, and then I need to use this symbol right here. And then I want to use cells. B2 to be 1,000. That's it. Because in those set of cells is where I have my category range, right? Semicolon to move on to the second argument. However, pay attention here. Even though my Google Sheets is telling me I need to use comma, so yeah, comma. And we also have semicolon, right? So two different symbols. My Google Sheets is telling me that I need to use comma. However, when I use it, it's not going to move to the second argument. Look here, comma. It didn't move. The range is still being selected. Is still being highlighted. So how do I possibly know that it's not comma and it's a semicolon? Yes, guys, it's a problem, right? So you need to try. Try colon. If it's not moved to the second argument, try semicolon. If it's moved, okay, you're good to go, right? So you need to try both, comma or semicolon. In my case, it's semicolon. Criterion. As the criterion, I need to use the first cell that I have right here, but don't click on the cell because you may mess up the formula. So I just going to give the coordinate that is A2, cell A2, comma. And finally, as the last argument, we have the sum range. So since I already select the range where I have all the categories and the category specifically that I'm looking for, I can finally select the sum range. What are the cells I want to add up together? And in this case, again, I'm going to use the same sheet as before, movement, and then use the symbol we used previously. However, now the cell is going to change. I need to use D2 to D1000. That's it. This is the range. Let me hit OK, and let's see if it's going to work. Okay, guys, we may have a problem here, but why is that? I don't know specifically. Let's check. Some argument is incorrect. So let me confirm here. Let me check first the name of the sheet. The name of my sheet is movements. Okay, plural. It's in plural. I use singular. So that's it. This is the problem. Let me go back to the formula, all the way down here to the footer. I just need to consider a S in the suffix, right? Movements. That's it. Look, even the text highlighted for me automatically. And if I move all the way here to the right, let's do the same as well. Instead of singular, I need to use in plural. This is very important because now we know we need to use the same letters, right? The same way. Confirm, and that's it. 2,000 as the salary. Now we can click on the cell and use this small circular handle, click, hold, and drag it downwards. Click on the cell, and then we can go to 3 dots and autofill. That's it. Because Google Sheets is going to copy and paste the formula throughout all the rows we have in the selection. Now let me see if it's working. Let's say I want to add something for sales. If I go back to my previous sheet, let me confirm this one. Movements. I don't want to, I'm not fill here the date just to save some time. Let's say salary, I want to include sales. I'm going to skip description as well. And as the amount, I want to use something like $150. Hit enter, okay. And just one more salary here. Category, salary, this time $123. Hit okay, and that's it. See guys, now what we have here, we have 2 times the salary, so 2,000 with 123, and 1 sales with $150. Confirm, let me go back to the second sheet. As we can see right here, everything is going to be summarized properly. The salary is correct, the sales is correct, and that's it. This is how we can, from scratch, create an application in Google Sheets to use on our daily life. Now we have our financial app. I think it's very easy to use on a daily basis. Just take your cell phone and then register all the money in and money out movements, right? I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and I see you in the next one.